Okay. Hey guys. Apparently there's more trouble in South Korea. Let's take a look.
Guys, how does South Korea keep getting more and more unstable? I just don't understand. I naively
crazy.
thought that after the martial law attempt of the president failed, things would start to go gradually back to normal. I predicted that he would end up going to jail and things would just go back to normal, but I was so damn wrong. Things have never been worse. For the first time in this country's history, they impeached the substitute president, okay? They impeached the acting president within 2 weeks of impeaching the main president with scenes like this.
What did he do now?
National Assembly.
What the heck?
Look at this. It's absolutely wild.
Mr. Subtitles though.
Instability, the South Korean
One is the lowest in nearly 16 years. Yeah, when I visited Korea, I believe the one was roughly like 1,000-ish. I think it was a couple years ago. It was 1,001 is $1. And then I think it was like 110 yen was like Japanese yen was $1 as well. So, now it's basically half the price.
Korean
Holy.
won is at its lowest since the 2008 financial crisis.
That's freaking
This led
crazy.
a well-respected political science professor based out of Seoul, South Korea, to say this. Look at this.
You tweeted that South Korea's future has never been more uncertain since the Korean War.
Even uncertainty hard to measure as uncertain as it is now. Not since the Korean War, even during the Cold War, things might have been more predictable. North Korea's future seems rather more
And that even North Korea's future is now more predictable.
predictable.
Look, you have to understand, saying something like this before the martial law incident was unthinkable. And yet here we are today. As I say in every South Korea video, we
crazy,
are
man.
witnessing history. So we have to talk about it because it's an absolute catastrophe. Let's do this. So this all started back in December 4th, 2024, when the South Korean president shocked the entire nation by imposing martial law with
Yeah,
no
we did react to
prior
that.
warning. The National Assembly got together against all odds and forced him to lift it. Just a few days later, a vote was held to impeach him on December 7th, but he shockingly survived it because his own party was still backing him up. That all changed, though, on December 14th, when yet another impeachment vote was held, and it
So 10
passed.
days later?
The president, while apologetic,
Damn,
kept
that's
emphasizing
crazy.
that he did nothing wrong, okay? So even his own party was like, okay, man, no, you gotta go. According to the Constitution of South Korea, when a president gets impeached, the prime minister becomes acting president. In this case, it was Han Duck-soo. But this barely meant anything just yet. The president was impeached, yes. His powers were suspended and he was banned from traveling abroad, but he was still the president. How does that make any sense? Well, let me explain. In South Korea,
Does this impeachment not work the way we all think it does?
there are two courts of the highest order, the first one being the Supreme Court. It does exactly what you would expect a Supreme Court to do. It has the final say on laws. However, when it comes to matters of impeachment, it's powerless. This responsibility falls under the Constitutional Court, the second court of the highest order. But get this, they don't just handle impeachment, they handle other areas of the law and have had direct conflicts with the Supreme Court over who has the final say. Just classic South Korean politics. But one thing is for certain, when it comes to impeachment, it's all their business. No new elections can be held for a president until they approve the impeachment. But here's the thing. The Constitutional Court of Korea is comprised of 9 justices. But there's a problem. There are only 6 justices currently holding office. In order to pass a law, you need 6 yes votes, which means every single one of them needs to vote yes on impeachment, and if just one of them votes no, it's over. The president regains all his powers back. You see, a Constitutional Court justice has to stop serving under 2 circumstances. The first one, reaching retirement age, which is 70. The second one, which is reaching the end of their term of 6 years. And once a term is done, the National Assembly has to reappoint a new justice. Yep, that means we're back full circle to the National Assembly. But how did that even happen in the first place? How are 3 justices missing? You see, back in October of 2024, 3 Constitutional Court justices retired at the same time. And understandably,
that
there were
sucks.
fears of operational paralysis because the National Assembly loves to take their time on things like this.
This was
that's exactly why
a couple
we're
months
here
ago.
today.
Yeah,
But regardless, even though they only have 6 members, the Constitutional Court has already started the trial proceedings. They have 180 days to decide on whether they want to impeach the president or not. The president, of course, has been stalling as hard as he can by saying that he wasn't receiving any of the trial documents from the Constitutional Court, even though they literally sent it to every known address of his and even to his own staff. Does this guy think that we were born yesterday or something? What is he doing? Unfortunately for him, though, his genius master plan of ignoring court documents isn't going to do much, though. The trial is moving forward regardless.
Drunk surfing to be banned in
while
Korea.
this may
Sorry,
have
I'm just
seemed
looking
like
at
good
articles.
news, it only made the opposing party more and more anxious. 6 justice votes were simply not enough. They needed to fill those 3 seats to guarantee the impeachment of the president, otherwise they risk failure. But unfortunately for them, they had no control over that. According to Article 11, Section 2 of the Constitution of the Republic of Korea,
111.
the Constitutional Court shall be composed of 9 justices qualified to be court judges, and they shall be appointed by the president. But as we know, the president's powers are currently suspended, which meant that the acting president was technically supposed to take on this responsibility. But after almost 10 days of being appointed as acting president, Han Duck-soo had made no progress. The opposing parties were getting impatient. They wanted this impeachment to be 100% guaranteed.
Well, if he's impeached, then who's going to be the next president? Speaker of the House or whatever? I'm not sure if there's...
But what they were asking for had never been done in South Korean history. Sung-min Cho, who teaches political science in South Korea, appeared on ABC News and explained it pretty well. Watch.
No, this is totally unprecedented. And then the part of why this is so chaotic is that since there is no precedence, so there is a legal debate to what extent the acting president, the prime minister, has the authority to appoint the 3 vacant judges in the Constitutional Court or not. So all this uncertainty and then absence of precedent itself is causing all this.
It kind of looks like this pushing and shoving and then getting up to the stage. Looks very similar to the Ukrainian politics as well. As I was watching it on news, it's kind of crazy. Like, you know, I was like, what? When I was a kid. But still, it was kind of crazy.
Chaos.
People like fist fighting and stuff
This
as well.
never happened before. There was never a case in South Korean history where an acting president had to appoint 3 judges to the Constitutional Court. But at the same time, this was a...
Yeah, because if he appoints the judges, then there's a higher chance of them actually... impeaching him, so he's not going to do that.
Prime minister who was right under the previous president who had enacted martial law.
That's crazy. Why is he stalling though? What's gonna like? What is the difference? Does like a couple days, weeks, or whatever gonna make a difference on your case? It's prolonging life in like outside of prison, I guess, or what's going on?
Accusing Han Duck-soo of trying to protect the president by delaying the appointment of the judges so that the impeachment fails. On the 23rd of December, they threatened to impeach him if he didn't appoint judges immediately. This would mark the first time since 1948, since the enactment of the South Korean Constitution, that an acting president would get impeached. And according to that same constitution, if that were to happen, then after the prime minister, the next person in power would be the finance minister.
Finance minister.
It would be Choi Sang-mok. However, he wasn't really excited over the idea of becoming acting president number 2. He was actually urging the National Assembly not to go ahead with the vote because if the acting president would get impeached, it would deal a significant blow to the country's economy and security. He really didn't want this. But unfortunately for Choi, on the 27th of December 2024, the impeachment vote went ahead and it passed. The acting president was officially impeached. The impeachment passed while the entire party of the president was protesting in the National Assembly as it was being held. It didn't matter if they participated or not because the opposing party had the majority of the votes anyway. And they wanted Han Duck-soo gone. Their reasoning was that Han Duck-soo was taking way too long to appoint the 3 judges they needed for the Constitutional Court. This impeachment going through absolutely shattered the South Korean won. I mean, look at this. Okay, look at this. On the 27th of
0.
February 2009,
Oh
it
my
was at
God.
its lowest, $0.00065 to 1
Holy.
won. And today it's at 0.00068. It's almost going to beat its
Damn.
record. If this keeps going lower, it'll easily trigger a financial crisis. But regardless, the finance minister, or should I say, the new acting president, pledged to stabilize the nation because, in his opinion, minimizing governmental disruptions is the most important thing to do right now. That sounds
I
wonderful,
guess so.
man. But your country just went through 3 presidents in the span of 2 weeks, and you're about to be next if you don't appoint 3 judges. Make no mistake, South
Here.
Korea
Oh,
is willing to go
what,
through its
sure.
presidents like toilet paper if they don't get what they want. On the same day the acting president got impeached, the Constitutional Court officially began their trial for the first president's impeachment. Despite claiming that he had never received any of the legal documents, the legal team of President Yoon actually showed up on the first day of trial. Interesting. But whether 3 judges will be appointed before the end of this trial remains to be seen.
I hope so.
One
They have
thing
like
is for
180
sure, though,
days,
I would
right?
never want to be president or acting president in this country. These are all the South Korean presidents ever since the establishment of the new constitution. Overthrown, assassinated, removed by military coup, sentenced to death after his presidency. Dude, you either end up dead or in prison. This is ridiculous. I don't know
freaking
what's
crazy,
going to
man.
happen, but I tend to agree with Sung-min Cho. For the first time in history, North Korea is more predictable than South Korea. So
I
I'll
really
keep you
hope everything's
updated.
gonna be
I'll probably
fine.
make another video around January when there's more progress, but for now, I just hope that the people of South Korea can stay safe and hopefully avoid further crisis. Thank you so much for watching. I love you and happy New Year, baby. Mwah.
Thank you, Mujin. Epic rap battle of history. 1 day ago. Yeah. I hope the South Korea will get stabilized and they appoint the judges, and impeach the first president, or this one on the left, right? This guy, and appoint a new president. Or I guess maybe this guy's gonna be serving. How does it work? Is this guy gonna be serving as president until the next re-election, or how would that happen? But either way, kind of crazy. Looking forward to seeing what's gonna be next. But I hope hope everything's gonna be okay and Korea's gonna be back to normal. Alrighty, thank you guys. Bye.